Hey, what's up people, it's TTC. Today we're going to have a look at the deluxe Black Series Boba Fett figure from the Mandalorian. I did say previously we need to look at some more Black Series over 3 3/4, and this is a damn good one to start with. Obviously this is him in his look from the episode of the Mandalorian on Tython, where he gets his armor back and then he fights all those stormtroopers. I mean, that was a pretty cool episode. Whatever you think about any of this or any of the Disney stuff, you can't deny that was pretty cool watching him take all them out. See, they set Boba Fett up as being the cool, badass gunslinger guy that we'd always been told he was, but never actually had a chance to see him be, and that was so cool. And then they followed it up with the wet fart that was the Book of Boba Fett, unfortunately. Which I didn't hate, because it wasn't even enough to hate. It was just... But, despite all of that, I still think this modern redesign of him is so cool. I really, really like this. It's obviously supposed to be like he's just thrown his armor on over his Tusken Raider sort of robes or whatever, and maybe it's the darker colours or whatever, but I just think it all goes together really, really well and makes him look pretty damn cool. Everything recognisable you need is there, you know, the helmet, the chest plate, the jetpack, all of it. It's just updated slightly so that this guy wasn't wearing the same clothes for the last 30 years. One of the coolest things about this is how good of a job they did with all this scraped, sort of painted and then worn off metal on all of his armor pieces. I mean, look at that chest plate. Obviously, at this point, after the Sarlacc pit, it was even more scraped off and worn, and I think they did a really, really good job of capturing this. The shoulder pads, I don't know, for some reason it's slightly less believable. There it just looks like an orange pad with some silver paint on top of it. I mean, it's the same way they do the chest plate, but maybe it's the orange, but it don't work for me. Then it continues down onto the wrist gauntlet things here, and you know, it looks better again there. I actually really like that. Can you imagine the hassle of having to completely repaint your armor over and over and over again though? I mean, if I was you, mate, I'd just give it up and stick with the silver. I mean, everybody knows chicks dig silver. The gauntlets are unique to each other, sculpt and paint wise. As a kid, I always thought this one was the flamethrower because I assumed these pipes here, I always thought they went to the jetpack and carried gas to there to make the flame. I have no idea if that's true or not, just kid logic, I suppose. Because I'm pretty damn sure that this side is actually a flamethrower. If you have a look just underneath his wrist there, I'm pretty sure that's what those two little nozzles are. Which, considering how tiny they are, they look pretty nice. And then there's a nice little bit of silver paint on his little wrist rocket here. Now in this version, he's still wearing the massive baggy MC Hammer pants that come from the Tusken thing. Later on in Book of Boba Fett, he swapped them out for what I thought was a better look, but we never got a figure of that, so what are you gonna do? And the folds and creases on these are an absolute dust magnet. But they do look good for what they are, I suppose. They were originally sort of like a very chocolatey brown colour, so I just did a quick, not black, but very, very dark brown wash over them to sit in all the creases, and I just think it tones it down, makes it look a lot better. Is it accurate? You could argue either way, I suppose, but I would much prefer it like this than that really orangey brown that Hasbro seem to use for everything. I even contemplated dry brushing some dirt and sand around the edges, and I might do that at some point, you know, I think that would actually look pretty good. Not too sure about the design of this sash just hanging down one leg. I mean, what's he trying to hide? The boots are done nicely enough, and he does actually still keep his weird little dart shooting knee pad things, although they're much further down, sort of closer to like an upper shin pad now, but they're still there and they look nice, they're the right colour and everything. It's just the way that this whole knee works with them it was a weird design choice. I understand articulating baggy pants can be kind of hard, but watch this. So the way that they've gone about it is to cut a big chunk out of the knee and then keep most of the thigh coming down, and it looks pretty good, straightforward like that, but it's also completely covering the knee pad, which doesn't make any sense to me. You can still articulate back and forth, you know, range-wise, movement-wise, it looks fine. But what's the point of completely losing the knee pad underneath the sculpt? Surely it'd make more sense for the pants to kind of tuck into it. I actually mentioned this in a previous video looking at a Marvel Legends Daredevil. Like on this Black Series Ahsoka here, it's done in kind of a similar way. The big baggy leg and then the knee sort of cut out of it so it comes down and then leaves that bit sticking out, and without a knee pad it doesn't look too bad. And this is the Daredevil I was talking about. He's also got really, really baggy pants, but they come down and they tuck into these really tight straps around his legs. So the way they did it was a double jointed knee, which, as you can see, doesn't look great really, but maybe with the knee pad on that cap, it might look better. I don't know, maybe there's better ways of doing all of this, but that's not really my job, is it, Hasbro? The jetpack has got a really, really nice sculpt on this. To be honest, They've already put these out a bajillion times with loads of different Boba Fett figures, so they couldn't get this right by now. They'd have to be pretty fucking stupid. I'm not a massive fan of the green missile. Just a design preference, I suppose, but the rest of it does look really good. It's also really worn and beaten up and scratched. All these silver scrapes and dings coming through, I think that all looks really good. The little jet booster things, whatever you want to call them, they do articulate. You can point them straight out from his back in case he wants to fly completely forward in a straight line. And it just connects to his back with these 3 little holes. I get the system they're going for, it does kind of work, but they're a little bit loose. And this whole back panel piece of his armor is very plain. I added that little silver ding there just to have something. Considering how beat up and worn the front is, it makes no sense for the back to be like this. That's them just cheaping out. Like I said, it does connect kinda loose, so I've taken to just sticking a little bit of blue tack on the bottom there. It kinda just needs that little bit of extra help. See, without the blue tack, it's very, very loose, very wobbly. I highly doubt there's any chance this will stand up to the shake test, but let's try it. It's a shame really, we shouldn't have to do that, but at the same time, it's not a big deal, is it? It's not like blue tack is expensive, you can find it just stuck to back of chairs most of the time in England. And once it's on there, it'll definitely hold it on, no problem. The missile is removable, it's quite a tight, snug fit in there, which is good because obviously you don't want it just falling out. It's just held in with the same kind of peg you get on interchangeable hands, and this is a really good option to have, but man, do not drop this. You will never see it again. But I actually kind of think it looks better without it. One last thing worth mentioning is the silver stripe going across the middle of the jetpack is actually supposed to be a welded on piece of metal, and all they've done is just paint a big silver rectangle. It's not the end of the world really, is it? But come on, could have done with a little bit of sculpting or something. Just grab these 2 boost effects from a Marvel Legends Iron Man, and I'm pretty sure that they will fit in the ends of the jetpack. It's sort of just done with the same little pegs into the holes that you'd expect, so let's give these a bash and see what these look like. It ain't the snuggest fit in the world, but they do go in there, so there you go. If you've got a couple of these lying around, that's definitely an option you can have. I actually think that looks pretty cool. Angle his head looking up and tilt him to the back, and there you go, you can have him flying away. So accessories wise, he comes with this rifle, which I don't think is the same as his classic one that got cut in half. I think it's just slightly different, and this is pretty well done for what it is. It was done in a very plain, just sort of grey plastic, so at some point I got bored and just added a little bit of silver detail, like rivets or whatever. Not really any rhyme or reason to it, I just thought we need to add something to this. But the sculpt is nice enough, and it's immediately recognisable whose gun this is. It is slightly warped though around the end of the stock, which is annoying, man, but it happens with pretty much every gun you get with pretty much every Boba Fett figure. It fits in his hands pretty well, you can definitely get both hands on it at the same time, so you know, there's the first battle won. But if you look closely there, it's the way that it bends around under his arm. It's stupid. And then he's also got this tiny little pistol, which I actually really, really like the design of this. It's not the same one that he had in Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back. It's a completely new thing, and it kind of looks like someone's taken a gun and just removed loads of pieces of it, and this is what's left. I don't know why, but that appeals to me for some reason. It's also just done in that sort of boring grey plastic, but this one at least has got a little bit of brown there on the handle. It's a tiny bit of paint, but man, it goes a long way. And this fits in his hand really nicely, no problems there at all. Shake test! And with his arms straight out, you get a really, really nice sort of aiming forward, I'm gonna shoot you in the face pose. And it fits really snug into that holster. That ain't going anywhere at all, no chance of that falling out. But let's check it just for the sake of it. It's a really, really nice shape to this helmet. The sculpt is pretty much spot on. At some point though, over the year or two that I've had this, it's gotten a little bit, maybe a bit pinched, a bit squished in, and it's kind of lost its shape a little bit, but it still is really, really nice. Boba Fett's one of those guys who's got an immediately recognisable helmet shape, and if you don't get it right, it's pretty obvious, and this is definitely close enough if you ask me. Again, they've gone all in with all the silver scrapes and dings, and then all the marks for the kill marks on the side of his helmet. All the colours I think are spot on as well. I know there's other companies like Mayfex who they made it a really, really deep sort of foresty green. It's too dark for me, but this is spot on. Yeah, and just looking at that side-on profile silhouette, I mean, if you get that right, that's all you need, and I think they've done a bang-up job here. And the rangefinder is articulated, yay! I honestly believe any figure, whether it be a Mandalorian or a clone or whatever, if it's got a rangefinder, it should be articulated, otherwise it's just a big stick poking out of their head. The helmet is removable, so underneath there you get what I honestly believe is probably one of the best face sculpts that Hasbro's ever done. It's not perfect, you know, it's definitely not like Hot Toys quality, but this, if you ask me, looks so much like Morrison. If you ask me, I don't think they could have done any better job with this. All the veins and scars and everything are all sculpted on, and there you go, some of those could have done with a bit of paint, I suppose. But the 2 or 3 really, really big scars running right across his face have been given sort of a shimmery, almost silvery, kind of like a dead skin look, which maybe doesn't quite make sense, but I actually kind of like it. I just grabbed the Vintage Collection Echo here because it's the closest one I have to hand that's got the same face sculpt, and I always thought this was really, really good, especially for this scale. There's probably a pretty good chance it's even the same facial scan, but come on, the Black Series one is just way better. Now I don't know about you, but I loved me a removable helmet. And again, going back to that pointing forward, sort of aiming pose, it looks even better with his actual face. It just adds sort of more intensity. This is really impressive. I just stole the flight stand off from McFarlane's Superman just to see what he'd look like up in the air. And this is a really crap stand, to be honest. It's way too wobbly, but you find a better one, and I actually think this would look pretty good. But man, this one is so damn wobbly. For some other 6-inch Mandalorian-style characters, here's the Black Series Sabine Wren from Ahsoka. Both of them here with the helmets on, and both with the helmets off. Removable helmets rule. And here's a 3 3/4 Vintage Collection Death Watch Mandalorian. The helmet sculpt on this guy is actually completely spot on. Maybe they should have used this and upscaled it a bit. I don't actually have any 3 3/4 Boba Fetts to compare with. I keep saying I need to get one. If anyone out there randomly wants to send me one, you go for it. And here he is with my Black Series custom, sort of dirtied up, sort of remnant style Stormtrooper. Not really for any reason other than I just love showing this off any chance I can get. It's only a very simple custom, but I think it turned out really, really well. And here's the Marvel Legends Iron Man that we stole those booster effects from. I love the look of all the shiny red and gold off this underneath these bright lights. This looks cool. And here's a 7-inch Jazzwares Halo Master Chief. Never really realised before, there's quite a lot of similarities between these two. It's a good example of 2 different companies' ways of doing scratched up green metallic armour. And since Daredevil's still knocking about, here he is as well. If you're into that, then I did a whole video on him, go and check it out. And here's a teeny tiny little Lego minifigure of Boba Fett that I just randomly found in my cupboard. Now I'm not at all a Lego collector, I actually got this because I used to work in Legoland Discovery Centre. By far the best job that I've ever had, and I've had quite a few jobs over the years. I loved working there. It was so cool seeing all the different Star Wars stuff coming in, but then 700 quid for a Star Destroyer? And his helmet comes off too, and what's with the glare? Oh, has the front torch been on the whole time? So even though it's definitely far from perfect, I'm really, really happy that I bought this. Not really a huge fan of the character since they brought him back, and I thought the Book of Boba Fett was just the most plain nothing. Honestly, couldn't even remember anything that happened in its show I've ever seen. He was much cooler in The Mandalorian, but I'm not really a big fan of The Mandalorian either. I think it's alright, but everybody likes to say, oh, it come at the right time and it saved Star Wars. Star Wars didn't need saving if you ask me. I was perfectly fine with everything that was happening up till then. And Din Djarin, he is not a cool gunslinger kind of guy. All he does every episode is get his ass kicked. He's obviously not very good at what he does. But just in terms of enjoying the modern update on the design, then yeah, I actually really, really like this Boba Fett. And even though it's not accurate to anything, I just whack the Darksaber in his hand because it looks cool, doesn't it? And it's fun to piss off all the little nerds who'll go, no, he can't have it, he's not... Shut up. So don't forget to like this video, drop us a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I took a week off last week, but everything will be back to normal now going ahead. Plenty more videos coming. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.